Г- Внимание! Говорит и показывает Москва.
Good morning. You're watching a live broadcast of the Victory Day Parade on Moscow's Red Square.
Парад Победы! Государственный флаг Российской Федерации и знамя Победы! Смирно! Для встречи слева! На край!
Army General Salikov is getting ready for the parade, marking the 75th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. Entering Red Square is now the symbol of victory, the victory banner of the 150th Idritska Rifle Division. Soldiers of this division raised the victory banner of the captured Reichstag building in 1945, marking final victory in the Great Patriotic War. The victory banner is of special importance to all Russians. It's a sacred symbol. We cherish it as a legacy of our forefathers who sacrificed their lives for this victory and peace and our future. Today, the state flag of the Russian Federation and the victory banner are in the capable hands of the 154th Preobrazhensky Independent Commandant's Regiment servicemen, Sergeant Anton Mikhailov and Junior Sergeant Dmitry Monastyryov. at ease.
Парад! Смирно! Для встречи слева! На краю!
The parade formations are ready to be reviewed by Russia's defense minister. To the sounds of the march that accompanied the Victory Day parade on June the 24th, 1945. Reviewing today's parade is Russia's defense minister, hero of Russia, Army General Sergei Shoigu. Leading the parade is Commander-in-Chief of the Army of the Russian Federation, Army General Oleg Salykov.
Товарищ министр обороны Российской Федерации, войска Московского гарнизона для парада.
The Moscow garrison troops are ready for the parade to mark the 75th anniversary of victory in the Great Patriotic War. Army General Salykov reporting, Commander-in-Chief of the parade. Review of the troops begins. General Sergei Shoigu will now inspect the combined army regiment of the Russian armed forces. Defense Minister Shoigu greets the troops and wishes the troops a happy Victory Day. In the past years, Russia's army have achieved a new level of performance and capabilities. The Russian army reliably ensures the nation's sovereignty and independence, successfully fulfilling its duty, which is to protect and defend our country and its national interests. The Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu greets the troops and wishes the troops a happy Victory Day. The defense minister has reviewed the combined regiments of the Russian Air Space Force. They perform a wide range of tasks and operations, running airlifting, long-range and fighter aircraft missions, maintaining airspace defense protocols.
Здравствуйте, товарищи! Поздравляю вас с 75-й годовщиной победы в Великой Отечественной войне!
The defense minister is now greeted the parade formations of the nuclear, biological and chemical protection troops, signal corps and parade formations of the Western Military District. Today there will be a total of 14,000 troops taking part in the parade.
Здравствуйте, товарищи! Поздравляю вас с 75-й годовщиной победы в Великой Отечественной войне!
The defense minister has now reviewed the parade formations of the airborne and railway troops, strategic missile forces, Russia's National Guard, Federal Security Service and the Emergencies Ministry.
Здравствуйте, товарищи! Поздравляю вас с 75-й годовщиной победы в Великой Отечественной войне!
The defense minister has now wished a happy Victory Day to the parade formations of the Russian Navy Engineer Corps female troops, cadets of the Suvorov and Nakhimov academies, and the Young Army Patriotic Movement called Yunarmia, as well as formations representing friendly foreign states. General Sergei Shoigu has finished inspecting the parade formation and is now heading to the central stand to report to Commander-in-Chief of the Russian Armed Forces, President Vladimir Putin. Comrade Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation, the troops of the Moscow garrison are ready for the Victory Day parade. Defense Minister Shoigu reporting. At ease. Citizens of Russia, dear veterans, our distinguished foreign guests, soldiers and sailors, sergeants and NCOs, Army and Navy officers, generals and admirals, happy Victory Day happy anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. This is the victory that shaped the destiny of the entire planet for decades ahead. It has forever remained as the most important victory in the world history, and both in terms of its spiritual importance and its major significance. This time, the parade is taking place on the 24th of June, right on the day when, in 1945, the Parade of the Winners took place. It's a triumph of the good over evil, peace over war, life over death. On behalf of all those who defended the homeland, the flags and banners of the Nazi were thrown here to Lenin's mausoleum as a sign of warning, and the combined parade formations of all the fronts and branches went across Red Square. Everyone was there, those who valiantly fought to defend the homeland and those who brought victory. Millions of soldiers who forever remain on the fields, the battlefields, are commemorated today. We remember all those who did not come back, the sons and daughters, the fathers and mothers, the grandfathers, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, and fellow soldiers, friends, and family members. We mourn those war veterans that are no longer with us. I ask for a minute of silence. We'll always remember that it was the Soviet Union that defeated Nazism. Millions of people of different nationalities from all the republics of the former Soviet Union, both on the front lines and on the home front, in part of the guerrilla units and in the underground. They worked according to the principles of solidarity and valor. They liberated their own soil and they liberated the entire Europe and put an end to the Holocaust tragedy. They defeated this lethal ideology of Nazism and liberated the people of Germany. I shudder to think what could have happened to the world if it had not been for the Red Army. Its soldiers never needed any glory or any other land. They wanted to defeat the enemy, gain victory, and come back. And they paid a dear price for it. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers died on the battlefields in Europe. And it was the Soviet Union that bore the major brunt of the war. All of the troops of Nazi Germany and its allies were against the Soviet Union, but that armada could not defeat the Soviet Union. It was our nation that could have overcome that evil. More than 600 divisions were defeated. 75% of the Air Force, tanks, artillery pieces were destroyed, and they went along that path until the very end. And it was full of sacrifices and hardships, unprecedented hardships and sacrifices. This is the pure truth of the war, and we need to protect that truth and to pass it on to our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And today, this victory commemorates all those fallen soldiers and all those who shaped the outcome of World War II. We'll see the formations of Azerbaijan, Armenia, Belarus, India, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, China, Moldova, Mongolia, Serbia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. We're happy to greet our friends and guests who've come from other countries to pay their tribute to those who protected peace on the planet, and we will never forget the contribution of our allies. The Second Front, opened in 1944, has been extremely important, and we commemorate the valor of all the soldiers and all the fronts, all those who fought underground in Europe. There have been many challenges that the world is facing today, and we can now really cherish that value. The human lives, peaceful, creative life. We understand how important it is to build trust between the nations, and we are open to cooperation across all the areas. One of them is the need to build a common security architecture. The world is changing very fast, and that could help us to protect the world against new emerging dangerous threats. Friends, World War II veterans today live in different countries, but you cannot divide their shared feat, and that feat belongs to the entire humanity. We appreciate your sacrifice. You've proven with your lives that it is important to defend the values of humanity and justice. We'll make sure that the memory will never fade, the memory of your sacrifice and valor. And this is our responsibility to those who live today and to those who lived in the past. Glory to those who defeated Nazism. Glory to World War II veterans. Hooray! General Salikov is getting the troops ready for the march.
Равнение направо. Шагом марш!
Торжественное шествие войск возглавляет командующий военным парадом
Commander-in-Chief of the parade, Army General Oleg Salikov, now opens the parade.
На Красной площади юные музыканты Московского.
You can see the young musicians, the drummer squad of the Khalilov Moscow Military Musical College. More than 7,000 of its cadets have marched on Red Square today during different parades. The parade drummer squad is led by college principal Colonel Alexander Gerasimov, commanded by Major Alexei Ruklenko. The color guard units march across Red Square carrying the state flag of the Russian Federation, the victory banner and the banner of the Russian Armed Forces. The color guard units are accompanied by the honor guards of the Russian Army, Navy and the Airspace Force. A formation of the best 154th Preobrazhensky Independent Commandant's Regiment servicemen is commanded by Colonel Sergei Bisonov. A historical reenactment part of the parade is opened by the color guard units carrying the banners of the 10 Russian fronts that contributed most to the victory during the war's final stages. 45 banners marking appearance on Red Square now represent distinguished units that achieved major victories in the course of the war. These banners are now in the capable hands of a new generation of servicemen who build on the legacy of World War II veterans. They are followed by a parade formation of soldiers dressed in World War II uniform. The first group is an infantry formation with the legendary Mosin Nagant rifles. It was the infantry who has been relentlessly forging victory since day one, engaging the enemy in close-quarter combat when necessary. Next come pilots dressed as their World War II comrades. During the war, the airmen valiantly purged Nazis from the skies. Now, sailors are marching on Red Square. In World War II, they became a paragon of courage and bravery. They are followed by demining troops dressed in the World War II uniform. Their selfless act saved multiple lives and helps to bring life to normal in many cities by clearing them from mines and ammunition. Now, reconnaissance troops are entering Red Square. Daring and resourceful, they always believed in victory. That's what helped them to successfully operate behind enemy lines. The glory of border guards will never fade. Overall, 485 frontier posts were the first to bear the brunt of the enemy's attack. They are followed by the militia. In the summer of 1941, over 1 million people volunteered to join the war effort and fight for their country and their homes. A parade formation of Cossacks is marching across Red Square. The formation is led by a Cossack chieftain, ataman of the Russian Cossack Society, Cossack General Nikolai Daluda. Throughout the war, over 250 Cossacks were awarded the status of Heroes of the Soviet Union. The reenactment part ends with the military officers dressed as the ones who marched at the Victory Parade here in Moscow in 1945 on June the 24th. Lieutenant General Andrei Toporov is leading the parade formation. This year, we have the honor to welcome the military personnel from the Commonwealth of Independent States and other friendly nations. Here comes a brigade of peacekeepers from Azerbaijan. The parade formation is headed by Major Samik Mamedov. More than 600,000 Azerbaijani contributed to the war effort in the Great Patriotic War. Entering the square next is a parade formation of soldiers from Armenia carrying the historical banner of the 89th Taman Rifle Brigade. The formation is commanded by Colonel Ashot Agaban. Marching under the banners of the glorious partisan regiments, guerrilla regiments and regular troops are the honor guards of the armed forces of the Republic of Belarus. Senior Lieutenant Vladislav Shepilevich leads the company. Parade formations of the three branches of the Indian Armed Forces are entering Red Square. Their commanding officer is Major Anjuna Gorka of the 6th Light Infantry Regiment. In 1944, 2 Indian military officers were granted the orders of the Red Star. Kazakhstan is represented by a parade formation of the 36th Air Assault Brigade, number 1 regiment of the country's armed forces. Colonel Uland Nurgaziev, commander of the brigade, leads the formation. They are followed by a group of soldiers from Kyrgyzstan, carrying the banner of the 8th Rezekne Guards Motor Rifle Division, named after Major General Ivan Panfilov. The formation is commanded by Colonel Bekazi Tumenbayev. Now a parade formation from China is marching across Red Square. The honor guards of the People's Liberation Army is led by Major General Bao Zemin and Senior Colonel Hai Zhe. They are followed by a company of honor guards of Moldova's National Army. The parade formation is headed by Captain Vitaly Zhosan. The special battalion is led from Mongolia, is led by its commanding officer, Colonel Badalgarin Hash Erdene. From day one, Mongolia was a reliable ally of the USSR. They are followed by a Guards battalion from Serbia, marching with its commander Colonel Dragan Yakovlevich. The people of Serbia were the first in Europe to rise against the Nazi aggression. There is no doubt that they will always cherish the memory of the fallen soldiers. Joining the parade on Red Square are the graduates of the Military Institute of the Ministry of Defense of Tajikistan. The parade formation is led by Lieutenant Colonel Hafizadeh Faizi Muhammad. Here come the servicemen of the armed forces of Turkmenistan. The Pobeda cars are decorated with the national flag and the banner of the 748th Rifle Regiment, where Berdimuhamed Anayev, the grandfather of the current president of Turkmenistan, served during World War II. The parade formation of the armed forces of the Republic of Uzbekistan is now joining the parade. It is led by Deputy Commander of the Tashkent Military District, Colonel Shokir Khairov. Here come the youngest participants of the parade formation of the Moscow Suvorov Military College. In 1945, 210 students of this college first took part in the Victory Day Parade. The formation is led by Colonel Igor Yakimov. Joining the parade on Red Square are the cadets of the Tver Suvorov Military College. In 1943, the college opened its doors to the boys living through the times of war. 18 of them had been brought up in regiment and earned military decorations. The formation is led by the college principal, Colonel Vladimir Lyakov. The parade formation of the St. Petersburg Nakhimov Naval College is led by Captain First Rank Andrei Sinevich. More than 15,000 naval officers first started studying naval science at this very college. We now welcome the young cadets of the Kronstadt Naval Cadet Corps. The parade formation is led by Captain First Rank Nikolai Dovbeshko. For 25 years, the Cadet Corps has been training new generations of Navy sailors. Joining the parade are the top members of Yunarmia, the Young Army patriotic movement with more than 750,000 members. The parade formation is led by the head of the HQ hero of the Russian Federation, Cosmonaut Roman Romanenko. Now joining the parade is the Combined Army Regiment of the Russian Armed Forces. First in line are cadets and officers of the Combined Army Academy, led by Lieutenant General Alexander Romanchuk. Most famous marshals and Red Army commanders graduated from this academy. The parade formation of the Military University of the Russian Defense Ministry is led by its principal, Lieutenant General Igor Meshutkin. The university is the only humanitarian and military school of its kind in the country, training specialists who are well versed in political and military fields. The parade formation of the Mikhailov Military Artillery Academy is led by Colonel Andrei Titov. The oldest Russian missile troops and artillery academy is marking its 200-year anniversary. 98 academy graduates became heroes of the Soviet Union and the Russian Federation. Today, the academy trains officers capable of operating any artillery and missile systems currently in service. Joining the parade on Red Square are the Marshal Vasilevsky Air Defense Academy cadets, led by Lieutenant General Gleb Yeramin, who is its principal. During the war, anti-aircraft gunners downed more than 20,000 enemy planes. 57 anti-aircraft gunners became heroes of the Soviet Union. Today, the Academy trains officers for state-of-the-art air defense missile systems. They are followed by the parade formation of the Krylov Military Logistics Academy, led by Major General Vladimir Konovalov. It has marked its 120th anniversary. The combined female parade formation comprises cadets of the Russian military schools, future officers of the Air Space Force, logistics officers, military interpreters, legal and financial experts. The formation is led by Majors Maria Vasilieva and Yekaterina Ryakova. They've been inspired by the women who fought in the Great Patriotic War. 93 of them became heroes of the Soviet Union, and 4 became full cavaliers of the Order of Glory. Now joining the parade is the Russian Air Force Regiment, comprised of officers and cadets of the Zhukovsky and Gagarin Air Force Academies. The parade formation is led by its principal, Colonel General Gennady Zibrov. Today the Academy offers 70 different majors, boasting cutting-edge training equipment, advanced and promising new aircraft, drones, ground support equipment and electronic warfare systems. Over the course of the Academy's 100-year history, tens of thousands of its graduates have made a significant contribution to exploring space and airspace. Over 1,500 Academy graduates became heroes of the Soviet Union and heroes of the Russian Federation in times of both war and peace. 60 of them were awarded this title twice, while Academy graduate Marshal of Aviation Ivan Kozhedub became Hero of the Soviet Union 3 times. Today the parade formation includes servicemen who are the proud descendants of the first Russian pilots. The parade formation of the Mozhaysky Military Space Academy is led by its principal, Lieutenant General Maxim Penkov. Over the years, the Academy has trained a number of pilots and test pilots, including the famous ace Alexander Pokrishkin, a 3-time hero of the Soviet Union. The Academy is the main academy and research center that trains uniquely capable airspace specialists. Marching across Red Square is the combined regiment of the Russian Navy, led by Rear Admiral Vyacheslav Sitnik. The combined regiment comprises cadets of the Admiral Ushakov Baltic Naval Academy, located in Kaliningrad, in Russia's westernmost region. Out of 18,000 Academy graduates, 80 became admirals and generals, as well as fleet commanders and captains of ships and submarines. Here come sailors from Russia's Far East, cadets of the Admiral Makarov Pacific Higher Navy College. The column is led by Captain First Rank Andrei Shmakov. Over its 80-year history, the college has trained 20,000 plus officers, including 18 heroes of the Soviet Union, Russia and socialist labor. Marines are now marching by. Their motto is, "We bring victory." Marines are represented by the 336th Independent Ballast Brigade of the Baltic Fleet, led by Colonel Andrei Lazutkin. Strategic Missile Forces are represented by officers and cadets of the Petrograd Military Academy. First is Academy Principal Major General Leonid Mikhalap. The graduates have helped to set up and bolster Russia's strategic nuclear forces. This is one of the oldest military academies. This year, it will be marking its 200th anniversary. The Serpahov branch of the Academy is represented today by Major General Andrei Morozov. It trains officers to operate state-of-the-art missile systems to protect Russia's security and sovereignty. Joining the parade are airborne troops. First, the cadets of the Margelov Guards Higher Airborne Officer College, based in Ryazan. The column is led by college principal, Major General Alexei Rogozin. Over the years, it has trained more than 50,000 graduates, including 135 heroes of the Soviet Union and Russia. You can now see the 331st Guards Kostroma Airborne Regiment of the 98th Airborne Division, led by Colonel Oleg Shmilov. War veterans from this unit liberated Hungary, Czechoslovakia and Austria. Entering Red Square are the paratroopers from the 104th Guards Air Assault Regiment. The parade formation is led by Regiment Commander Colonel Alexander Shipov. This year marks 20 years since the soldiers of the 6th Company engaged in fierce battle where they were greatly outnumbered. 22 paratroopers from the 6th Company were recognized as heroes of Russia for courage and valor. The parade formation of the Moscow Border Guards Institute of the Federal Security Service of the Russian Federation is led by Superintendent Major General Valery Kozlov. Border Guards continue to protect our borders and keep us safe. The Institute has produced over 50,000 border guard and security service officers to date. Joining the parade are combat engineers, led by Colonel Alexander Malkov. The best soldiers from the 1st Brest-Berlin Guards Combat Engineering Brigade and the 45th Berlin Combat Engineering Brigade are in the formation. The parade formation of the Marshal Timoshenko Military Academy of Radiation, Chemical and Biological Protection troops enters Red Square, led by its principal, Major General Igor Yemelyanov. Its graduates serve in combat and as part of humanitarian missions. Now, joining the parade, it's the Signal Corps, represented by the cadets from the Budyonny Military Academy of the Signal Corps. The formation is led by its principal, Lieutenant General Sergei Kosterov. Over its 100-year-long history, the Academy has trained 46,000 commanders and engineers for the Russian Army Signal Corps. A battalion of railway troops is joining the parade. Top soldiers from railway brigades are part of the formation, led by commander of the 38th Railway Brigade, Colonel Igor Orlov. 29 members of the formation are heroes of the Soviet Union and heroes of socialist labor. Now joining the parade is the unit from the Emergencies Ministry's Civil Defense Academy, led by Major General Viktor Panchenkov. This year, the Emergencies Ministry celebrates its 30th anniversary. The parade formation of the Dzerzhinsky Independent Operational Purpose Division, the Russian National Guard Forces Command. It is led by its commander, Major General Dmitry Cherepanov. 75 years ago, soldiers from this division threw German military standards and banners to the steps of Lenin's mausoleum. Entering the country's main square is now the parade formation of the Kalinin 2nd Taman Guards Motor Rifle Division, led by Major General Yevgeny Nikitin. During the war, 34 soldiers from the Taman Division became heroes of the Soviet Union, and 5 were awarded the Order of Glory of all classes. The parade formation of the Andropov 4th Kantemirovskaya Guards Tank Division is led by Division Commander Colonel Vladimir Zavadsky. During the war, the soldiers from the Kantemirovskaya Division were instrumental in the most important liberation operations in Europe. The Moscow Higher Military Command School cadets are the last ones to march through Red Square in this part of the parade. They are led by the school's principal, Major General Roman Bidukov. The Kremlin cadets missed only one Red Square parade, the one that took place in November 1941. A cadet regiment gloriously reserved its place in history books by becoming metaphorically a wall and stopping the enemy near Moscow. 811 cadets were killed in the battle for Moscow. The Kremlin cadets have always exhibited courage, valor and dedication. The Academy has trained 109 heroes of the Soviet Union, Russia and socialist labor. The military orchestra is now leaving Red Square to give room to the armored column. Keeping the tradition, the combined military orchestra of the Moscow garrison provides the musical accompaniment for the parade. Honored artist of the Russian Federation, Major General Timofey Mayakin, is the conductor. During the parade, the band performs over 50 marching songs and other musical pieces. You can now see the armored column featuring World War II era and modern military equipment. The 1st Guards Tank Army has the honor of opening the historical part of the parade, featuring legendary T-34 tanks. Commander is Lieutenant General Sergei Kisel. During the war, the tank army engaged in battles from Kursk to Berlin, destroying more than 7,000 tanks, SPGs and APCs. As the T-34 tanks leave the square, we see the parade formation of Su-100 tank destroyers. Lieutenant Yegor Nazin leads the formation. During the war, these self-propelled artillery guns destroyed enemy tanks and provided fire cover for the troops.
Современная техника вооруженных сил.
State-of-the-art military equipment of the Russian armed forces is now joining the parade. The first to appear is the column of Tiger and Typhoon armored vehicles equipped with various types of remote control weapon stations. It is the 16th Separate Guards Special Purpose Brigade, led by Lieutenant Colonel Anatoly Vasin. Entering the square is the formation of the BMP-2M infantry fighting vehicles with the new Berezhok combat module and BMP-3 vehicles equipped with active protection systems that save lives of crew members in combat. It is led by Major Igor Matveyev. And now joining the parade is the latest Derivatsiya PVO anti-aircraft artillery system, along with the Kurganets 25 and Armata platform IFVs, equipped with the Epocha and Kinjal weapon stations. The formation is led by Lieutenant Colonel Sergei Salahudinov. You can now see tank support combat vehicles. They would support tanks and other armored fighting vehicles in urban areas. The column is led by Captain Alexei Tikhonov. It is followed by a formation of T-72B3 main battle tanks of the 1st Guards Tank Regiment under the command of Captain Rinat Rafikov. Next is a formation of T-80 BVM tanks with updated gas turbines of the 200th Independent Brigade under the command of Captain Alexander Kornishin. The brigade is deployed in the Arctic, just like it was during World War II. A parade formation of the 27th Independent Guards Brigade is newest tanks and the T-14 Armata and the T-90M. It is led by Major Konstantin Usoltsev. Russia's military and artillery troops are represented by the formation of the 236th Artillery Regiment that features the 152mm self-propelled Mstayas howitzers and self-propelled guns Koalitsiya SV, led by Major Mikhail Malinin. These artillery systems are among the best in terms of firepower, rate of fire, reach and mobility. Now joining the parade is the Tornado S multiple rocket launcher system of the 494th Artillery Brigade, led by Major Andrei Abakumov. The Iskander-M missile system division of the 112th Guards Missile Brigade is next to enter Red Square, led by Major Ilya Lobachev. The brigade was awarded 7 times for successful World War II operations, such as liberation of Novorossiysk, crossing the Dnieper River and the Oder River, and the Berlin Offensive. You can now see the Tor M2 anti-aircraft missile systems of the 538th Tarnopol Guards Regiment and the Buk M3 missile systems of the 35th Anti-Aircraft Missile Brigade. This parade formation is led by Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Molavin. These air defense missile systems can counter enemy airstrikes with a 100% success rate. A parade formation of the S-300V4 anti-aircraft missile systems of the 77th Anti-Aircraft Missile Brigade is led by Lieutenant Colonel Dmitry Gordiev. These systems can destroy maneuvering targets at very high altitudes and at very large distances. A parade formation of the BMD-4 and BTR-MDM Aka Shell infantry finding vehicles of the 106th Tula Guards Airborne Division is led by Lieutenant Colonel Dmitry Tomin. You can now see the new TAS 1A, an upgraded model of the heavy flamethrower system. It is operated by the 1st Mobile Brigade of the forces that provide radiation, chemical and biological protection. It is led by Captain Yevgeny Spitsin. Next is the TAS 2, the next generation of heavy flamethrower systems. It runs on the Ural chassis and boasts a higher firing distance. You can also see remote mine installation vehicles that can install mines at a certain spot with high precision. It is led by Major Ilnur Mingazov. Next is the anti-aircraft systems of Russia's airspace force. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Kutachov is leading a column of the Panzer S air defense systems and its upgraded version, Panzer SM. The last in the column is the Arctic modification, Panzer SA. You can now see the S-350 Vitas and the S-400 Triumph anti-aircraft systems of the 606th Guards Anti-Aircraft Regiment led by Major Denis Doyashov. No foreign air defense system has been able to match its capabilities till today. Next is the BAL coastal anti-aircraft system of the 536th Independent Coastal Artillery Brigade of the Northern Fleet. It features a command and launch modules as well as transport vehicles. It is capable of destroying any target in the sea and can protect the country's coasts. The column is led by Lieutenant Colonel Dmitry Skabelnikov.
Возглавляет колонну подполковник Дмитрий Скобельников. На Красной площади колонна бронеавтомобилей.
We can now see the Typhoon multi-purpose armored personnel carriers and Tiger armored vehicles of the Defense Ministry's military police units. It is led by Major Pavel Maximov. The armored vehicles have proven to be reliable support to the military police during the humanitarian and special operations in Syria, during convoy operations that delivered humanitarian aid, during joint patrols on the roads and at checkpoints. A mechanized column of Rosgvardia, or the Russian National Guard, can be seen now. It is led by Captain Alexei Chervev. The National Guard can rely on such armored vehicles as Tiger, Patrol and Ural in any setting. Now, joining the parade are the Yars missile launchers of the 54th Guards Division of the Strategic Missile Forces. The column is led by Lieutenant Colonel Yevgeny Goncharov. It can be covertly deployed across vast territory and overcome existing and future missile defense systems. Missile brigades equipped with Yars systems form the core of Russia's mobile nuclear forces. The boomerang-wheeled armored personnel carrier ends the procession of military equipment, carrying flags from different branches of the Russian armed forces. Combat modules can be easily replaced, providing excellent cover for the personnel. It's now time for the flyover of the Russian Airspace Force. Early in the morning, 75 helicopters and airplanes of the Russian Airspace Force took off from 8 airfields, came together in one area just outside of Moscow to fly over Red Square in a single formation. The aircraft will fly at an altitude of 150 to 400 meters at a speed between 200 and 500 kilometers per hour. First comes the world's largest transport helicopter, MiL Mi-26, escorted by 4 MiL Mi-8 AMTS. The group is led by Lieutenant Colonel Sergei Polyakov. They are followed by 5 attack helicopters, MiL Mi-35M, led by Lieutenant Colonel Gennady Golyakov. Here come 5 Kamov Ka-52 Alligator helicopters. The group is led by Colonel Vasily Kleshenko. The aerobatics team Berkut can be now seen in the skies on MiL Mi-28 and Havoc. The group is led by Andrei Popov. Here comes Beriev A-50U. An airborne early warning and controls aircraft capable of tracking more than 50 targets at the same time, piloted by Lieutenant Colonel Vyacheslav Levchenko. Next is a group of 3 upgraded Ilyushin Il-76MD heavy strategic airlifters capable of delivering more than 40 tons of cargo to any part of the world. It is led by Major Sergei Melnikov. We now see a group of 3 Tupolev Tu-95 MS turboprop-powered strategic bombers. The leading pilot is Lieutenant Colonel Sergei Lyin. This aircraft is part of the Strategic Nuclear Force. Long-range Air Force is represented by 1 supersonic Tupolev Tu-160 variable sweep wing long-range strategic bomber and Tu-22 M3 strategic bombers. The formation is led by Major Alexei Volansky. We're now seeing the air-to-air refueling protocol over Red Square for Tu-160 with Lieutenant Colonel Andrei Poznikov in charge. Piloting Il-78 is Major Andrei Parusinov. Next, you can see 4 modernized MiG-29 SMT fighters. The group is led by Lieutenant Colonel Georgy Derio. We now see a formation of 4 Su-24M frontline bombers. The group is led by Lieutenant Colonel German Anakhov. Next in the sky over Red Square, we can see a group of MiG-31K heavy interceptors. Heavily modernized and armed with the Kinjal, or dagger, air-launched ballistic missiles, this aircraft is now a force to be reckoned with and a formidable deterrent. Leading the group is Major Yevgeny Shalagin. Next is the formation of Su-57 5th-generation fighter aircraft. Leading the group is Lieutenant Colonel Vladimir Volodskov. Now approaching Red Square is a wing of 10 aircraft, including Su-34 bombers, Su-30SM and Su-35S fighters. Leading the group is Colonel Yuri Gritsayenko. Next in the sky, you can see 2 Russian aerobatic teams, ranking among the best in the world. The Russian Knights and Swifts, flying Su-30SM and MiG-29. The group is led by Colonel Andrei Alexeyev. As the tradition goes, closing the show is the parade formation of the Russian Air Space Force. 6 Su-25BM attack aircraft coloring the skies over the capital of Russia with the colors of the flag of the Russian Federation. The group is led by Colonel Alexander Kartov. The combined military band will now play a Victory Die, a well-known tune to all Russians. The victory parade, to mark the 75th anniversary of the great victory in the Great Patriotic War, is coming to an end. The military band is leaving Red Square. The victory day is over. Glory to the 75th anniversary of the great victory. Hooray! Glory to the veterans of the Great Patriotic War. Hooray! Happy Victory Day to all Russians. Hooray! Thank you so much. Happy Victory Day. Really appreciate you coming here today and taking part in the parade. Thank you.
Сейчас сказали 15 вот ваш сотрудник. Если он пойдет по белой линии.